Hey pilots, Drain Man here, and today I have got a very exciting video. In today's video we're going to be checking out the all-new, brand new Walksnail Avatar HD Pro kit. New VTX, new camera, night flight, night vision. Let's go. Alright pilots, so here's the deal. I fly Walksnail. I have my Vanny style laced up with some beautiful Walksnail, but it is the V1 kit, and although it flies great and feels great and the colors are vibrant as ever, it's a beautiful, beautiful vision. It really is. The range is what can be expected from digital. You start to get a little choppy. Overall, it's a good system. Does it need improvements? Yes. Have they made improvements? Yes. So I'm excited today to check this out and see what are we doing here? What's going on? Because this is made by Caddx. It's a Caddx camera, and we all know when Caddx jumped into the Nebula Pros and all these other things that involve the DJI Vista, it was great. And personally, I've got them in dozens of quads and have zero problems and still fly them. I've never burnt one up. I've never don't have enough range. None of these things exist. So I'm excited to check this out because this may just be it, and we can really rock Walksnail and we can really fly our avatars and really have a good time. So let's go ahead and crack this puppy open. This is how it comes for 159 bucks. So if you're rocking like an 03, which is 220, 230, you're doing good. Dang, it feels like Christmas. All right, so here's our antenna. Now, there is something to be said about this. This is a single antenna, just one. It's not big, it's not huge, but it's got UFL connector, and it's just a single. We are coming from the Avatar V1 kit that had two antennas, diversity versus non-diversity. You tell me. All right, let's see what we got. So pulling this out, and whew, look at that beautiful camera. Wow, well done. Let's see that sensor. Oh my, look at that. And I'll say that we're coming from this camera here, which you can see there, the lens is not as big. It's got a silverish color, but I mean, I had good vision with that one, not at night. So let's see, we might be doing a lot better. Now pulling this out, and man, look at the upgraded kit. All right, so we've got sleek black. It's got built-in 20 by 20 mounting, so that's these holes right here. Boom, boom, boom. You've also got these screws here, which are laid out by 25 by 25. So if you had that mounting and you had to make it work, you could pull these 4 screws out, boom, and then mount that way. But there is one caveat, and that is that your camera cable and your antenna are both held down by these plates right here, and both of these plates are held down by these screws. So if I pull these 2 screws, this plate comes off, and that's how I access this. But what happens when I'm sitting here trying to finagle and mount and do all these things? It could be somewhat of a headache, but I'm thinking if you finagle it just right, you'll be all right. Back here we've got our connector. This is what you're going to use, this that comes with it. Look at that. And this is how you would update firmware. You would plug this guy in, bloop, and then you plug this guy in, and you would update your firmware and be on your way. So that's really awesome. Now if we flip over to the other side, you're going to see right here, this is going to be our UFL connector. You're going to pull 1 and 2 bolts. This plate's going to come off, and then you would connect your UFL right here. Very nice. That means it's held on, it's secure, and it's not going anywhere. Then if we rotate one more time, you're going to see we've got everything here from our bind button to laid out pads. Holy cow, that's a nice upgrade. So if something happens to my connector, or I don't want to deal with repinning and pinning and unpinning the pin, you don't have to deal with that. You can just go ahead and solder it right up. But if you don't want to deal with that, you've got this beautiful black connector right here, and you would plug into your flight controller, you're on your way. So this is a really nice new design. It's actually looking really good to me. Jumping into the specs, we've got some new updates here. So this camera has a built-in gyro. What does that mean? That means that you're getting a separate file with gyro data. Okay, so that means you can jump into a program like Gyro and you can actually use that to get your stabilization. Now the O3 supposedly has that built into it, or a GoPro Hero would have that built into it, but all of them are available to be pulled off and put onto Gyro where you can manually edit and get really specific on your settings and get some really, really nice footage. So if you're one of those types of pilots, this is going to be a plus for you. There is no external SD card slot. For example, air unit, O3, we've got an external SD card where I can pop in a card, 128 gigs, and really get to recording. If it fills up, I pull it out, put in a new one, and keep on recording. You can't do that with this. You've got 32 gigs on board, which is a lot to have on board, don't get me wrong, but that is on board 32 gigs. But when you use them all, well, now you've got to dump them and delete them if you want more space so you can record more. So all right, Pod, so let's take a quick look at these specifications because they are blowing my mind. Look at this. Look at this camera. So this is the Avatar HD Pro camera. You've got the Sony Starvis 2 sensor. Look at this resolution, 1080p. You can run 60. You can run 720p at 120 frames per second. Or you've even got the real deal 1080p at 120 frames per second capabilities. What? Now me, I'm a 16.9 kind of guy. It's up to you. You fly what you want to, but it looks like we can do both. We got 8 megapixels. We got 160 degrees of field of view. We're running an f1.6 aperture. Rolling shutter, of course. Look at this lux. Woo! This right here is what tells us this guy is gonna do great on night vision. Camera's only 9.5 grams, that's nice. You're running 19 by 19 by 24, so that's about typical. You've got your coaxial cable at 140 millimeters, so you got no problem putting this in any drone that you want, unless it's really long like that new Speedybee that I just did, the master frame. You're gonna need a little bit longer cable, and I don't know if that's an option yet, so keep a lookout for that. Now here's where the meat and potatoes comes. We're rocking that Avatar V2. We've got a nice communication frequency, look at that. Transmitter power, baby, oh yeah. Those are some nice decibels. Our I/O interface is the JST 1.0 by 4. We are familiar with that, or you can run the JST 0.8 by 6. Okay, so that's our JST connector with 6 pins for our USB and our 4 for our power in. So we're aware of that. Now, they're claiming 25.5 by 25.5. That is your Whoop mounting. All Whoop drones are like that. Some of these all-in-ones are like that. So you can create a stack where you've got all-in-one and then your new Avatar on top. Keep in mind, like we talked about, if we did not cover it, I do want to cover it. When you pull these screws out to access your antenna or pull these screws out to access your coaxial cable, you are going to be fumbling a little bit with those plates wanting to come out. So if you're mounting 25.5 by 25.5, you will have to work with that. You know, you'll want to finagle that in there, keep your plates on, put your screws in. You'll get it. It's just a little bit more of a challenge. So here we go, our storage. Now notice that they're saying 8 gigs by 32 gigs. That doesn't mean it does both. That means that there's different versions, which is why I told you, be careful when you're purchasing to make sure you're getting the correct one, because you don't want to end up with the one that you don't want. Okay, all right, we're recording 1080p at 720p, both options. That depends up to you what you run. Your weight is 17.6 grams. You've got 8 channels, that's customary. You've got a wide power range, so anything from 2 cells all the way up to 6 cell batteries, you're going to be fine. Keep an eye on what we talked about with your range. If you go over that voltage, got to be careful, because some of these 6 cell packs do have high voltage charging, and if they are charging over 25.2, which is easy to do, I don't know if that'll be a problem. So supported flight controller systems, Betaflight, iNav, FetTech, woohoo, FetTech. You've got your Ardu Pilot and your KISS. Your OSD is canvas mode, that's nice. That means you got full custom OSD to do what you got to do. You're running an average delay of 22 milliseconds. This right here, if it's true and it's accurate and it holds it, and I don't have to play around with it, I should be able to record DVR awesome frame rate without any problems. Your antenna is the IPEX, which we call UFL. All right, so your Avatar V2 antenna, LHCP. Keep that in mind, pilots. If you're not going to change it out for an RHCP, which if you have or have not messed with your goggles, these come stock. Left-hand circular polarization. Interface size, weight is 2 grams. We don't have to get too crazy. There's your packing list like we talked about. Your USB transfer cable. So you get this cable, you'll plug one side into this USB-C, and then you'll plug the other side into your Avatar, and then you can plug this in, update firmware, and do everything that you got to do. So that is going to sum it up for your specs on your new HD Pro Avatar kit. Whew. All right, pilots, make sure you stay tuned for the flight footage. I'm going to get some daytime, get some nighttime, and try to get you some good footage, but make sure you stay tuned for that. I hope that you guys are as excited about this as I am. I hope that you guys are enjoying the push of the technology of the HD world that FPV is being pushed into by multiple companies with multiple new things going on. I hope you guys are as excited as I am. I hope that you guys will go get your own HDR kit. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you on the next one.